Hi everyone, this is Paris Debono of the Fortune Teller shop, and in this video I asked my Lenormand and cartomancy group on Facebook if they wanted to ask me any questions about my job and the fortune telling industry. So I put up a post in the group. Hi Lenormand people, I'm going to make a question and answer video. You can ask me anything you want to know about Lenormand cards or fortune telling or psychic industry or about reading cards for the public. So I've been a professional fortune teller now since 1990, and this is my only job, and I have a shop. My current shop is on Crown Street in Sydney, where I do readings every day. And I use a combination of tarot, Lenormand, astrology and palmistry, as well as other types of fortune telling and psychic work. Okay, so now for the questions from the Lenormand and cartomancy group. So we have our first question from Jones. Do you do follow-up spreads, or is one the whole reading? So it depends on the client, and it depends on how much time the client has paid for. I tend to do 20-minute readings, 40-minute readings, or 1-hour readings. So if the client's paid for 20 minutes, then we usually get to do one main reading, and I usually do, say, the grand tableau for that. And if they have more time, then I usually decipher or pull apart their questions, and we do separate readings, like follow-up readings on each area. So for example, if they're asking about their boyfriend, say, or girlfriend, I will look at it through the grand tableau, but then I might also ask specific questions about how he feels about her or what's going to happen between them in the future. It really depends on how much time I have and what the client needs are. Another question from Jones is, do you pre-select the cards? Yes, it depends on the client and the time, like I just mentioned, but I do like to pre-select the cards. Usually the client likes it as well, because you can explain to the client, this is you and this is your partner. So I find most clients do actually like it when you pre-select them. It makes it feel more magical and more real to them. But not always, just depends. Depends on the client, depends on how much time I have, depends on the question as well. Pre-selection only works with small readings anyway, like 5-card spreads or maybe the 9-card spread. You can't pre-select the cards, the man and the woman, in a grand tableau. So now I'm going to take you through a step-by-step pre-selecting of the cards. So just pretend we have a female client and she wants to know about her relationship with her boyfriend. So what I would do in front of the client is I would go through the cards like this, and I would tell the female client that she's the woman and her man is the man, and there's her partner. I would show her that's the boyfriend. If there's any reverse cards, I'd turn them upright. We don't read reversed in Lenormand. There's the woman card. I'd pull them aside. Then I'd shuffle the rest of the deck. Shuffle, 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 and then I will select 7 cards, or get the client to select 7 cards. And then once I've selected my 7, just counting them to make sure there's 7 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to make a 9-card spread. So I put the man and the woman card back in the deck, in the 9 that we've got. Shuffle those, get the client to really focus on their question. And then once the client's ready, we pull out the cards in a 9-card spread. Now there's different ways of laying them out, so I'm just showing you this in a very quick manner. Often I'm much more tidy. So this is how the 9-card spread looks, and then I would talk about the different aspects. So as we can see here, we have the moon in the middle. We have the man and the woman facing away from each other, which is not a good sign because I'd like them to look at each other. And we have the ship as the exit card. Then I would go into detail and explain what all that means to the client. Okay, we have another question from Cosette. What is your opinion about the fox meaning self-employment? Well, I'm actually quite comfortable with the fox representing a self-employment card because foxes are self-sufficient and they have to look after themselves and they have to provide for themselves. They're often very cunning and very smart. So this one for me fits people that have their own business. Perhaps they're sole traders. They work for themselves. So yeah, I think that the fox card is a good card for self-employment. It did take me a while to get used to that idea, but now I feel quite comfortable with the fox being the self-employment card. Okay, so back to the questions. We have a question from Aaron. What is the key to become a famous fortune teller like you are? Well, it's taken me a long time to achieve my goal of being a fortune teller. I've been in the industry, like I said, since 1990. I think the key is to always do good readings and to be honest to your clients. Never take them for granted or trick them or fool them, because people know what's real and what's not. I also think you have to study hard and know your cards and know your divination, whether it's astrology or palmistry or tarot, whatever system you're using, to be really, really well versed in it. So then when people hear you doing a reading, they can see you're not just guessing or just winging it. They can see you've put in a lot of thought. I also think the other thing about being successful in this industry, I think you have to have a good advertising and you have to really love your work. I mean, I put hours and days and weeks and months and years into my job. Same as on Facebook. My groups are always quite busy. I make them fun. I make it where people are learning something. So you have to give and take as well. I think the thing that I've noticed with students of mine or people that are in the industry that don't do very well, usually they're very egomaniacs or they're focused on their own self-aggrandizement. That usually doesn't last long in this industry. So always be humble, I think, too. Like, I can have fun, but I can also be very humble, and I know that the cards are powerful and that divination is powerful. And I always respect divination and I always give it credit, and I also let clients know that it's not me as a personality that's giving them the message, it's the divination that is giving them the message, and I'm just the messenger. Okay, so we have another question from Monica. What is a good way to make friends with other fortune tellers? Well, I have always worked in New Age stores, so that was a good way of meeting other readers or fortune tellers or tarot readers. So that was one method. I also worked on Psychic TV and I met a lot of other psychic readers and card readers through that. I used to also run classes on Meetup. So Meetup groups are people that get together, and it's usually an internet meeting group, sort of like Facebook, but they make events. Perhaps you could go to something like that as well. There's so many ways you can meet people. Perhaps look around for psychic fairs in your area, or even do a class on an esoteric topic. Perhaps there's something that you could learn, and then you can make friends through your class by meeting fellow students and sharing your ideas with them. Basically, it's networking. If you have any other questions, please write them in the text box below or in the Lenormand and Cartomancy group. This is Paris Debono of the Fortune Telling Shop.